Welcome back, APUSH peeps. We've got a good video for you today. This one is on the American Revolution and its impacts. Got to give a shout out to Mr. Robertson's class at Steinbrenner High School in Florida. Best of luck. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the support, and you will do awesome this year. All right, so let's talk about events before the war or historical context. Well, remember, Britain ended salutary neglect in 1763. Do you remember the acronym to remember the year 1763? 4 letters. You got it, you little APUSH genius. PEEP is correct. So think PEEP. Pontiac's Rebellion, end of the 7 Years' War, end of salutary neglect, proclamation line of 1763. So British began to impose taxes such as the Stamp Act, the Tea Act, the Townshend Act to raise revenue. Olive Branch Petition was when the colonists asked the British to stop the fighting after battles such as Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill. But King George III rejected the Olive Branch Petition. And the Second Continental Congress hoped to avoid full-scale war, but KG3 said no. So the revolution is happening, and the Second Continental Congress will actually declare independence when they adopt the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. And do not forget about Thomas Paine's common sense. He argued that America should break away from Great Britain. Mobilization for the war. The Patriots, those are people that supported independence, and they made up a pretty good size of the population. Loyalists, on the other hand, who made up about 20% of the population, these were people that were loyal to England and did not want to break away. Men and women provided financial and material support to the Patriot movement. Women in particular through the homespun movement, in which they would make clothing and not buy British goods. There are also women soldiers who fought, such as Molly Pitcher, who helped fight at the front lines during the Revolutionary War. So what were some obstacles to victory? Well, you have loyalist opposition, again, roughly 20%, higher in some areas. So there is a significant portion of the population that does not want independence. Great Britain was militarily and economically advantaged over the colonists, over the Americans. They had the strongest military in the world, and they had much more money than the Americans. So those are going to be two major obstacles in this victory. So why did the colonists ultimately win? Well, you have actions of colonial militias in the Continental Army, actions in key battles such as Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill, in which the British retreated after these battles. George Washington can't talk enough about his leadership. He was charismatic, he was resilient, he was revered. Captured Hessians on Christmas Day. Pretty much people were in awe of George Washington, and he really helped hold the military together during this turbulent time. Colonists' ideological commitment. There is a belief in republic government, and these ideas come from the Enlightenment and Thomas Paine. So the Americans very much believed in their cause that they were fighting for, and it's hard to fight against an idea that people are so committed to. Most importantly, perhaps, is assistance from European allies, especially the French after the Battle of Saratoga in 1777. The British are defeated at Saratoga, and after this battle, France realizes, holy cow, America actually has kind of a chance in this war, so they began to provide financial and military assistance to the Americans. People like Marquis de Lafayette, or Lafayette, little Hamilton reference. So what are changes to America after the war? Well, the Enlightenment helped influence individual talent over hereditary privilege. Things like primogeniture was outlawed. What is primogeniture, you're asking? Well, it's when the eldest son inherits most, if not all, of the property. So this goes away, and other children besides the eldest son can inherit land. Religion helped Americans see themselves as blessed with liberty. Think about that Great Awakening that we talked about. Many Americans began to see themselves as being blessed with liberty. So push for equality during and after the war. Some individuals called for the abolition of slavery. If we're fighting a war to overthrow the British and the Declaration of Independence reads all men are created equal, some people think that should be applied to everybody. So Pennsylvania in 1780, they passed the gradual abolition law, which prohibited the importation of slaves into Pennsylvania, and all children born in Pennsylvania would be free, regardless if their parents were slaves. So this didn't immediately end slavery. This gradually ended slavery. This was a model for other states to follow, and you do see other states, particularly in the North, follow this Pennsylvania law model. There's increased calls for greater political democracy. Abigail Adams wrote a very famous letter to her husband saying, remember the ladies, when you go out and you make this new government, do not forget about women and help include women in the political process. Sadly for women, that did not happen at this time. Judith Sargent Murray was a woman who advocated education for females during this time. So Republican motherhood, start this bad boy. You need to know it. Super duper important. So women were expected to instill Republican values in children and families. They were expected to raise their children, be good little American citizens for the future. So Republicanism is a focus on citizens as a source of power or popular sovereignty. So women were expected to instill these ideas in their children. So how did this benefit women? Well, you have an increased educational opportunities for women. In order to be the raisers of children and to teach them properly, women need to have greater access to education. So we see education increasing during this time. So what were the impacts of the Declaration of Independence and the Revolution? Well, it inspired revolutions across the world. If you remember from AP World, or AP Euro, you have the French Revolution in 1789. Haiti, also, Toussaint Louverture helped Haiti gain independence in 1804, when this was a large-scale slave rebellion against the owners on this French island. In Latin America, many Spanish colonies gained independence in the early 19th century. So French Revolution, Haitian Revolution, Latin American revolutions, all inspired because they saw America overthrow their monarchy. And Simón Bolívar played a large role in the Latin American independence movement. All right, quick recap. Patriots, who were they? Loyalists, who were they? And how much of the population were they? Colonial obstacles to victory, what were they? Why did the Americans win? How did the revolution impact America? Pushes for equality during and after the war, how successful were they? That's a great continuity and change type of a question. Republican motherhood, what is it? You better know that bad boy. And impacts of the Declaration of Independence and the Revolution on the world. Thanks, guys, for watching. Look forward to seeing you back here for state constitutions and the Articles of Confederation after the American Revolution. Thank you for watching. Best of luck, and have a good day.